Now it's time for Talking with Joe. Joe Rose is live from the WQAM studios this morning. Joe, of course, we're going to talk more about D. Wade coming back to Miami. As excited as everyone seems to be, us here in South Florida, I have seen a few mentions here and there, like, really, he's 36 years old. How much does he really have left in the tank to give? I think it goes beyond his playing ability at this point. It's really just about that morale and his leadership. But what do you think, realistically, physically, what can D. Wade do for this team?
You know, I've watched, like a lot of people, the Cavaliers are always on national TV, so I've had a chance, like a lot of people, to watch a lot of Dwyane Wade. And, yeah, that leadership, what he'll mean for the arena, having maybe the greatest player in the history of this town back in uniform with the Heat's important. But he can still play. Now, look, he's got great instincts. He's still got great touch. He doesn't jump the way he used to. He doesn't get up at age 36. I don't think he can play big minutes. Back-to-back games will be interesting to see how they play him. But I think he can still make big shots. I think he can still be effective late in ball games and make big shots. One of the greatest finishers in games in the history of the NBA. I mean, he's been fantastic. So I think there's a lot of things he can do. He plays more with his brain now than his body like he used to, where he's just so athletic. But this guy's made great adjustments to still make him an effective player to help this team, especially he already sounds like he's ready and will do it, come off the bench and help them when they need him. And I think, boy, he can be a big-time mentor and tutor to a bunch of these players, young players, on how to be a pro and help them with their game. They're going to listen to him. He's just got so much to offer. And the buzz. This American Airlines arena really needed a buzz, and he'll bring that back, and I think that's really important.
We were talking about it. This team didn't really have a star. The star is certainly back and shining bright, so looking forward to that game tonight. Joe, of course, D. Wade had to leave the Cavs as part of this trade, and I've seen some really funny tweets. One of them is like, a new team, who dis? Because no one knows who's on the Cavs anymore. Everyone is new. They traded so many people. Are you surprised, though, by how badly Isaiah Thomas and that whole trade sort of panned out for the Cavaliers here? It seems like LeBron's kind of the only one left and a couple of other guys, because now Isaiah Thomas also out.
I saw the Isaiah. Now, listen, I didn't see the trade for Dwyane Wade coming. I saw the trade for Isaiah Thomas coming. He's ripped the coaches, say they don't make adjustments. He's blamed everybody, and I'm thinking, Isaiah, you don't play any defense. You haven't been very good with your shot, and you're doing a lot of talking about your teammates. I could see this wasn't going to work, and recently they had said LeBron James wasn't real happy playing with them. And you start to add all those things up in mass sports, and you go, uh-oh, this ain't going to work out. This ain't coming out right. So, yeah, he got traded away to the Lakers. I was not surprised. They got rid of 6 players yesterday. They got a brand-new team, a lot of new players for LeBron James. Really looking forward to seeing what this is going to look like after the All-Star break for the Cavs down the stretch. How good can they be?
Yeah, well, hopefully it means that we'll see a little shakeup in the standings maybe as the Heat move up and the Cavs move down. I'm just saying. That's what I'm hoping for, at least, Joe. We'll got to wait and see.
Lauren, I know I know how you feel about that one. Thank you.
All right, Joe. We will talk to you on Monday, hopefully after a Heat win tonight.
You got it, Lauren.